Wall work is support work, is slant work. We use a ledge, we use a wall, we use a stick, whatever we can to assist us into gently getting into the back chain, the posterior chain, opening things up and strengthening them. It's great for a warm-up, it's great for a cool down, it's great to get into some places you haven't been to in a while. So this is going to be a 5-minute wall work follow along. Thank you for being here. Let's get started. I've got a ledge right here. My ledge is about top of my hip height, and then I've got a stick. Use whatever you can. It doesn't have to be perfect, but let's get started. The first thing that I want you to do is to put your rear end on that surface. So let's put our rear end on that surface, and once we get there, I'm gonna start our time. My feet are about one distance away. I'm gonna get on the balls of my feet, move my hips all the way back until I find that rear surface. If you do have a stick, then we want to reach that stick in front of us and pull our hips high on that wall here. I'm trying to get my foot, knee, and hip all straight and feel my hamstrings. Think about this as an opening movement. So I'm going to find the back chain, I'm going to find glute, hamstring pressure, and then I'm going to pull my tailbone just a little bit higher from here. Good. We got 30 more seconds. Oftentimes I like to see when people go into this position that they pull their sternum up. And if I take my hand and reach around, I feel that primal tunnel. I feel my spine sinking into my spinal records. We got 10 more seconds. Strong feet, strong hips. 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to turn around and do the exact same thing on the wall. So let's get our feet about an arm's distance away. We're going to get onto the balls of our feet, move our hips back, 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 back until our nose is about over our toes. As we move back, it's okay to go into squat land. Once you go into squat land, then I want you to pull your hips up until your knees get straight and you feel your back, glutes, and hamstrings all working. I primarily want my glutes and this back hip socket to do the thing that's working most, and we're going to hold this position here. Notice how my sternum up, my eye is up. I'm not looking down, but I'm very active in this position here. Very active. Small rocks, small adjustments right to left are highly encouraged. This is our last 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2. Now I'm going to take the pressure of my backside, my hips, my posterior chain. I'm going to move it into one hip. So let's go into our right hip. I'm going to get my head over to my right side. So I'm just going to go boom into my right side. I'm going to pull that same side hip back. So pressure goes into the right side here. And then as soon as I get into the right side, I should be able to lift up this opposite leg, my left leg. Once I find that pressure in my right side and everything is opened up, ankle, knee, hip, everything is opened up, then I'm going to take this leg and I'm going to shoot it back. I'm going to shoot it back and I'm going to make sure this kneecap is in the same direction as that kneecap, both facing out to my right. Once I get that leg pointed back and everything to the right, I'm going to take the same side sternum and I'm going to also open it up to the right. If I have a stick, this is a good opportunity for me to use the stick for a little bit of extra support and balance. Time starts now. 1 minute on the clock. I'm finding that back outside right hip and doing small movements back and away and trying to pull that hip to the sky, opening up glutes and hamstrings here. I've got a strong push against the wall. I'm really digging into this backside. If this feels really good, this can be challenging for some. If it's not so challenging for you, then I encourage you to lift this back leg. Lift this back leg and really own that same side pressure there. If even this is where you're at and you feel pretty comfortable and confident here, feel free to slowly slide your back foot forward and backward, keeping your hip exactly where it's at. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and switch. We're going to do the same thing. I'm gonna get my hands on the surface in front of me, get onto the balls of my feet, and move my hips back until my nose are over my toes here. My feet can be close, 3 to 4 inches, or 5 to 6. The goal is to really help assist myself getting back here. So whatever helps you get back there on 2 strong feet, let's get into that position. Move our hips back. Find those glutes and hamstrings, maybe a little squat until we find those glutes, and then we're gonna pull everything up and get those knees to point straight ahead. Feet straight ahead, knees straight ahead, and hips are gonna be making rotation in to get those knees straight. Once we find that, let's now own that left side. So get our head over our left toes, press strong with the right until we can lift up that right leg. Once we feel confident here, we've made any adjustments. Let's shoot that right leg back and get both kneecaps to be pointing to our left, and finally our sternum to open up to our left as well. If you've got a stick or a support, feel free to use that. And let's really own this left side. Pressurize it here. There's a couple ways you can think about this. You can think about driving your foot into the ground to pressurize the backside of your leg. You can also think about pulling your hip up to the sky as that foot presses. Whatever we want, we're learning the skill set of pressurizing the back of our leg. Extremely important. From here, if you want, then we can elevate, hold this pressure here. And then for advanced, we can start to do small slides back and forth. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and time. Beautiful. We're gonna put our hands back on the wall, and now we're just gonna, for 1 minute, alternate from our right side to our left side. This is gonna feel kind of like rockers. It's gonna feel like we're just kind of scrubbing our hips. So we're just gonna be doing this motion right here. Load and release, load and release. Notice when I'm loading, my knee isn't driving forward and hip doesn't come forward. We're doing the opposite. Knee pulls back, hip pulls back and away to release. Let's get our hands on the wall, get our hips situated. We don't have to be down here. In fact, I want you to be a little bit more upright. Feel confident in those hips, feel good. We're gonna get started in 5 seconds. I like to pitter patter my feet, find my glutes. 3, 2, let's go to our right side. Right, left, pull off. Right, and left. Right and left. Everything pulls and turns. Everything turns out to the right, turns out to the left. Option to take that same side hand off as we step back. Common to feel a lot of work in our glutes, a lot of work in our low back and hamstrings. This is good. All of this is good stuff. We're strengthening the backside. We are strong in the backside. Awesome work. Going from our right, going from our left. I've got a space underneath my heel. I'm not letting my heel come down and going flippy floppy with this. I'm staying active on that foot, pulling that hip back. Last 10 seconds. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. We've got 2 more movements, 2 more positions that we're gonna own. This next one is gonna be a single leg air chair. So just like the other one before, I'm gonna get my hips on the wall. I'm gonna be about 1 foot distance away, but this time I'm gonna pull 1 hip onto the wall. So let's pull that right hip onto the wall. It's gonna go back and away. I'm not just gonna go straight back, but I'm actually gonna reach it to my left side, move that hip back and away like I've got a humongous amount of money in this front right pocket and I'm trying to hide it from the world. I'm trying to protect it. So let's hide that pocket of money, find our right outside hip. If we're doing this correctly, the kneecap should be pointed out to the right slightly, our hip should be tucked away, our foot is straight, and our sternum is also pointing out to the right. It looks like this. Boom. From this position, we should be able to elevate our other leg. And you've got options. You can stick it in front or you can stick it on the wall behind you. I like to stick it on the wall behind me, and this is where I'm gonna really utilize this stick right here. So I can pull that right hip up, pull my chest down, put my hand on my sternum and pull my right elbow back so I can feel my lats, the backside muscles. We're gonna hold this for 30 seconds. I've got a space underneath my heel. I'm really just working this hip, really feeling what it's like to pressurize this hip and load this, like if I was doing a single leg jump or a sprint, loading this leg, loading the hips, loading the hamstrings, not loading the quads, not loading my knee, I'm loading my hips. Hips are so good at getting loaded. That's how we're supposed to land on a strong foot on the outside part of our foot. Last 10 seconds, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and we're slowly going to switch. Both feet come back around. You can keep your hips on that wall or you can pull them off. But now we've got $1 million in our left pocket. We're gonna pull it back and away, put our hip on the wall, find that stability and that balance. We should be able to elevate the other side. Good, pulling that left hip up, taking a step back with that foot, or gently putting it in front. Left hand comes to your sternum. Time starts now. We got 30 seconds on the clock. You're doing great. We should be smoked at this point in our low back, glutes, and hips. Really getting it charged up for the day, opening things up. My foot is pointing straight. My left knee is pointed out. My hip is tucked away, back and away. And my sternum is being pulled by my left shoulder right here. Take some big breaths into the front of your body and humongous exhales. 5,